Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Skip is still convinced that his Cowboys could beat the New York Football Giants, and the third time would be the charm in Jerry's world. Shannon says right now he gives James Harden a slight edge over LeBron in the NBA MVP race. Watch out, Rob Parker gives us sales advice on Dallas Cowboys merchandise to explain why they are not America's team. FS1 NFL analyst Chris Carter drops by to preview the Seahawks' chances to get through the NFC. Plus, Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard is in the studio to tell us how Kyle Korver to the Cavs puts more pressure on King James to win and might cause matchup problems with the Warriors. Skip and Shannon, let's debate. Starting the NFL, the Giants travel to Lambeau for Sunday's wildcard matchup against the Packers on Fox. Eli and the Giants have won their last 5 playoff games, and 2 of those games were at Lambeau. The Packers won 6 straight to get into the playoffs, and in those games, Aaron Rodgers threw 15 touchdowns and no picks. Shannon? Who wins?
You know, Skip, when you look at this game, the Giants have not won a game in which they've allowed 24 points or more. The Packers have scored at least 24 points in all of their games, except 4. If you look at this hot streak that the Packers and Aaron Rodgers have been on, they have been averaging about 31 points a game. So if you look at the Giants' strong suit is defense, the Packers' strong suit is offense. Let's just say for the sake of argument, they're a wash. Now you got to turn to Eli and that offense against the Packers' defense. The Giants don't score. It's as simple as that. They don't score. And I believe going on the road, and I know everybody want to have revisionist history. You remember what happened in 2007. You know what happened in 2011. Well, a lot of these characters are only Eli really is still there. I got the Packers because I believe they get to that magic number of 24 points. And if you look at the Giants' offense, their inability to consistently run the football, they're basically a 1 to 2 big play team, and that big play normally comes from Odell Beckham. I don't like the Giants' offensive line. I think Clay Matthews has looked good over the last month. He's looking like his old self, and those tackles for the Giants are a problem. I think Clay Matthews has 1 sack, forced fumble. They win this game 24-14 and move on.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Aaron Rodgers MVP, right?
No.
Right away?
No.
Oh, okay.
Matt Ryan's going to win the MVP. Got a case on that, too.
No, you do not. Some inside information on that. Joy and Shannon Sharpe. I said sitting in this chair last Monday that the Giants would win this game. Then I said on Wednesday, I am starting to change my mind about the Giants winning this game. And now I have officially changed my mind. I don't care how much the Giants tried to diffuse it. I still say it was a really bad sign that all those receivers went to Miami for their off day. Not bye week, for their off day. I just think it sends the wrong signal that this team is committed to going up to Lambeau Field to win a playoff game. I think the defense is committed, but I'm not so sure about an offense that, as you point out, is 26th in the NFL in points scored, 26th. And if we were talking about a perennial playoff team here, a team that's been there and done that repeatedly, a team like the Patriots who knew what it takes to get ready for a game up on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, I'd say, well, maybe they get it. Maybe this is their way of defusing and then getting ready again. This team has missed the playoffs the last 4 years. I remind everyone, right? They've missed the playoffs, have the New York Football Giants, 6 of the last 7 years. So Odell has accomplished exactly what in the National Football League? How about nothing, right? well, how about nothing? That group of receivers, Victor Cruz was part of that, but still, in the main, those guys who went to Miami have accomplished relatively nothing in the National Football League. And so you're going to prepare for a game that the high in Green Bay on Sunday is 15 degrees, the low is 11. So sometime in that game, and it's sort of about half or 2/3 of it is going to be at night after sundown, it's going to get like 12, 11 degrees.
Right.
And you're going to go prepare for that game by staying up all night and then winding up basking in the sun on a yacht in Miami. Are you kidding? I've never heard of anything like this before. This is way beyond Romo and Witten and Jessica and Jason Witten's wife going to Cabo San Lucas on a bye week. At least that was a bye week. I just can't get over this because
they did dress appropriate. They had on Timbs and flannel shirts, so they're good in Miami, Skip.
But Eli is going to need all the help he can get. And I know he tried to make jokes and diffuse it, but Eli is 8-1 in the postseason. But you realize it's been 5 years since he played a playoff game.
Right.
That ill-fated Super Bowl against Tom Brady, the second one.
Yeah,
ill-fated. Eli Manning this year is 25th in QBR. 25th. He's all the way down there tied with Carson Wentz and Trevor Siemian, and Brock Osweiler is above Eli Manning in overall QBR for this season. So let's keep this all in some perspective here. I respect the defense. I even respect the fact that they have adopted a new nickname for the defensive backs, NYPD, as in New York Pass Defense. But I'm going to give the receivers a new nickname. They are the Yacht Club. That's what they are. They are the Yacht Club because they go to Miami to prepare for Lambeau Field. And I want to see the Yacht Club go up and win at Lambeau because I don't think they can, which unfortunately brings me to Aaron Rodgers. I can't argue against him this time. I'm sorry. I do think he's going to win the MVP. You may have inside information.
I don't have any inside information.
You were a little too confident.
I just want to bet a case. That's all.
Something's going on. I know USA Today had a survey this morning where they said, is that what you're going on?
No, okay, Skip. I don't need to read the paper.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I don't think so. But he's the hottest quarterback for this stretch we've ever seen. And somehow he's going to win MVP, in my opinion, off a 6-game streak at the end of the year. So let's see. Tom Brady played 12 games this year, and Aaron Rodgers really only played 6 games, but I don't know how the math works. 2 + 2 = 5. I don't know, but whatever. I think he's made a strong MVP case of late, and I don't see how the Giants, even as terrific as they've been on defense, can hold him under 28 points. Mm-hmm. So I think he will score 28. Again, will Janoris put usually the handcuffs on Jordy? Will he? Yeah, he might. But I think Aaron Rodgers will throw 4 touchdown passes to Jared Cook and
Allison,
Randall Cobb and Geronimo and who else did I miss? Devontae.
Yeah.
Those will be his 4 touchdown passes. And I think Ripkowski will bang away and Ty Montgomery will have a few nice rip and slash runs because they've got a little bit of running game going. And to your point, the defense has started to come alive around a Clay Matthews who's playing with a really torn up shoulder, it looks like, but he probably gets injected. And he has been wreaking havoc of late. So I respect that. They've lost some corners, but it sounds like Demarius Randall is going to play in this game, which is going to help him a lot. So how much could Eli score with the Yacht Club up in Lambeau Field? I mean, can they score 17? I'm going to give him 17 points, so I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers 28, Yacht Club 17. That's what I got in that game.
And I don't think people realize just how great, historically great Aaron Rodgers has been. I know they've won the last 6, but if you look at his last 7 games, he's 18 touchdowns, 0 INTs. And considering that the Giants have only scored 24 or more points 4 times, and the Packers have only missed that mark only 4 times, it's just hard for me to imagine that somehow you can just get it clicking and all of a sudden you can go score 27, 31 points when you haven't shown that. You haven't scored 30. This offense hasn't scored 30 points all year.
All year.
Can you imagine that?
I mean, they have one 28-point game.
Yes.
Okay, really?
And that's really not good. And I know people, well, you know, Eli, and if you look at the last 20 years, the Giants have made the playoffs. Either they lose the first game or they go to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
It's no in between with them. They lose the first game or they go to the Super Bowl. I just don't see how, with the inconsistency that they've shown on offense, Eli, no running game, Odell, I mean, basically it's, look, Odell, get open. We're going to get you one big play, make a guy miss, or they blow an assignment, and you get to the house, and defense, you got to shut it down from here. I just don't see how this defense holds Aaron Rodgers under 24. And I know they've been great. The last, 7, 8 games, that defense has been great. I mean, you put it up there with some of the best. But I just don't see how with Eli and that ineffective offense, that they with just 1 or 2 plays, you can beat this team as hot as they've been in the playoffs. in a one-game battle.
Well, you can catch the Giants and Packers Sunday at 4 Eastern on Fox. You guys both have the Packers.
I don't know. Now I hate that you pick Green. I know what you're doing, Skip Bayless. I know exactly what you're doing. And it's not cool.
Let's get to the next topic.
That was a little cat ate the canary look from you.
Oh, well.
That was different.
Trying
I like
to sabotage Aaron Rodgers. That's what he's trying to do.
I'm going to tell you what I want and here we go.
Okay, well, your Cowboys would play the winner of the Packers and Giants game if Seattle wins tomorrow. The Cowboys lost twice to the Giants this season and beat the Packers back in Week 6.
Catch him, used car. Couldn't
Skip, what's the better matchup for your Cowboys?
Boy, that was a sweet throw to Bryce Butler. Did you see that?
I
Who
saw-
was that? That was the real MVP, Dak Prescott.
I saw Rookie of the Year.
That was
one.
beautiful. Way to go, Dak. That was at Lambeau Field on the frozen tundra.
That was so long ago, Skip.
I want you to understand, my emotions are badly mixed on this, okay? So I'm a little messed up psychologically on this game and who I want for my Dallas Cowboys. But I badly want the New York Football Giants for a number of reasons. Number one, I just don't like them. And I'll just tell you, for years and years as a Cowboy fan, I just don't like the Giants. I especially don't like these Giants because they're quarterbacked by Eli Manning. And Odell,
What did Eli ever do to you besides beat your Cowboys?
he beat Tom Brady twice.
Oh.
So think of what he's done. He robbed Tom Brady twice.
He didn't rob him.
lucked up. He lucked up and beat him twice. Stole it from him. Stole it right out from under his nose in the first Super Bowl. And this year, think of what he's done to me psychologically. He's beaten my Cowboys twice by I don't know how he's done it. It's by 1 point and 3 points. So I sit back and I say, look, Odell, I've gone back and forth with him on Twitter. I like him, but it's hard to respect his egomania. He's just like run amok. And this going to Miami thing just sent me over the edge. But again, the point is, I want the Giants because I'm convinced my Cowboys could beat the Giants, that the third time would be the charm. And I will be the first to admit to you, I do fear Aaron Rodgers. As hard as I've been on him on this show, in this kind of game, at this point in the season, if in fact he does to the Giants what I think he's going to do, if it's a 28-17, he throws 4 touchdown passes, and you come in and say, and I have to listen to Rob Parker and others just go on and on about Aaron Rodgers, this and that. Look, is he capable? This is the worst case scenario. Is Aaron Rodgers capable of going to Jerry World the following, I would probably be on Sunday,
Yes.
and destroying the Cowboys, just lighting them up? Because their defense is, it's pretty good. It's gotten better and better, but is it torchable? Sure it is. It's torchable. Could he throw a party at Jerry World? Could it be 42-14, Aaron Rodgers? Does he have that kind of nuclear capability? You better believe he does. I get that. But the Giants don't. And the Giants, okay, let's just do Aaron Rodgers. So my Cowboys went up there on October 16th. And how did they do it? They dominated the game from start to finish. They took the ball in the opening drive and just went right down the field and scored.
Correct.
And it got completely out of hand early in the fourth quarter. It got to 29-7.
Right.
And they dominated every way you can dominate that game. But Green Bay turned the ball over 4 times in that game. Could I trust that Green Bay is going to come to Jerry World and turn it over 4 times? Because Aaron Rodgers threw an interception, he lost a fumble, and then they lost 2 other fumbles.
And he fumbled the ball. They were going in for a score.
Yep, you're correct. My Cowboys turned it over only 1 time that day, so it was 4-1 in turnovers, even though it looked like the better team was the Dallas Cowboys. Aaron Rodgers had his, by far, season worst QBR of 35. Dak threw for 227. Ezekiel ran for 157, and they dominated every way you can dominate. But again, that was a different Green Bay team. I still think this is the same New York Giants team. And I look at the 2 games. I look at opening day at Jerry World. Do you realize my Cowboys dominated time of possession? This is Dak's first ever NFL game, and he's starting for the Cowboys.
Sunday night.
Was it at 9?
Was it Sunday night?
Maybe it was. It was afternoon.
Sunday
Yeah, I thought it was afternoon. They dominated time of possession 37 minutes to 23. They were 10 of 17 on 3rd down. But Eli went 3 for 3 in the red zone, 3 touchdowns. Dak went 1 for 3 in the red zone. Why was that? Why was it?
I don't know why.
I know
was it, Skip?
exactly why it was, because Measly Beasley dropped a touchdown pass at the 2-yard line, wide open.
You got anything?
Yeah.
You didn't request that tape?
No, I don't need to see it. I don't want to see it anymore. And then Des Bryant had the ball right in his hands, the back of the end zone, and could not hang on to it. And I'm going to call that, by his standards, a dropped touchdown pass. So you're leaving. That made it 3-0, then 6-0 Dallas, instead of 14-0 Dallas. And then we know what happened at the end of the game. Terrence Williams caught the ball, and he decided to cut inside instead of outside, and maybe Dan Bailey.
Oh, you wanted that one.
Yeah. What are you doing, Terrence? You did it again. He did it again. He ran the wrong way. And I still say that Dan Bailey could have made a 58-yard field goal, because he'd made a 56-yarder earlier in the game. That would have won the game, because that was 20-19. Then let's go to the last game, December 11th at the Giants. 10-7 New York Giants, and Dan Bailey's 55-yard field goal at the end of the half. Could I please see this? It's up. It's looking no good. It hit the crossbar. It hit the crossbar in a 10-7 game. Do you realize it would have tilted?
That was a month ago.
It would have tilted the playing field. It would have given Dallas 3 more points at halftime, and the strategy changes throughout the second half. It was total yards, 260 for New York, 260 for Dallas. My Cowboys were only 1 for 15 on third down, but guess what Eli was on third down against my Cowboy defense? 2 for 14. What did Eli say right after the game? He volunteered this to the media. Could we hear it, please? Thank you.
It was tough. Field was wet. You were getting some wet balls. A couple balls, just getting just enough wetness where it was coming out of your hand funny. But it was one of those days where we're going to have to run it a bunch and be patient with that, and just hopefully hit a couple big plays.
What have I been telling you? It was a wet ball game, and Dak Prescott, the rookie quarterback, had not experienced that against an arch rival on a big night game on the road.
He's never played in rain before. He's been a quarterback his whole life.
Not at this level, with this kind of pressure and expectation, with Tony Romo looking right over your shoulder from the sideline, ready to come in for you. And he had the only inaccurate game he had all season long. It was a wet ball game, and Eli, bless him, made one throw.
Minnesota? Was he accurate in Minnesota?
I thought he played real well. He made 3 or 4 big throws that won the game. Did they win the game? I think they did. Yeah, on a tough Thursday night, loudest place in America. Come on.
Can I? You gonna let me have the floor?
No. I'm not finished yet. So what I want is the New York Football Giants with a dry ball at Jerry World the next weekend. That's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting like crazy for the Yacht Club to come to Jerry World. That's what I need and what I want. Thank you very much.
I'm from the South. Although I didn't major in atmospheric science, I did not know Mississippi was under a 20-year drought. I would assume that Dak Prescott, at some point in time in high school and college, played with a wet ball.
It was a snow wet ball. It was a slush ball. Does it snow in Mississippi often?
I don't, Skip.
See, I got you on that one.
No,
It's okay. Okay.
I love how you just keep trying to find excuses why your team lost. There's no question in my mind they would rather see the Giants, because in the 2 games, the Giants have scored a grand total of 30 points. The Cowboys saying if somehow we can manage to get to 21, there's no way they can score enough points to beat us. So obviously you want to take the team, although they have the better defense. But the Cowboys are saying, we don't need to do much because we know they can't get to 24 points. If we can just get to 24, and considering that we're playing them, if somehow we can get to 21, 22, I like our chances. You don't want to see Aaron Rodgers, because you know in a controlled environment with those receivers, he can go get 31, 35, 40 at the blink of an eye. So you don't want to see that. You want to see Eli, because you know they can't run the football, and now they did run the football fairly well the first time they played against them, and they had some pretty good runs even in the last meeting. But you know the Giants offensively are challenged, and so if the defense can somehow manage to hold them to 20, you have a good opportunity, because you say, you know what, we got Zeke, Dez is playing better, Bryce Butler has come on, Terrence Williams is making plays, Beasley's going to do what he does. We can count on Jason to get us 1 or 2 third down catches. If somehow we can get to 21 points, we can beat this team, because I don't believe they can get to 21 points against our defense. Although we don't have the 2013 Seattle Seahawks, no. We don't need to be against that defense, because we know they're one-dimensional. We know that they're a 1-play, 2-play offense. That's what they try and do. And so you don't want to see Aaron Rodgers. A quarterback, he's just like they say, a hot goalie. You don't want to face him. A very good pitcher that's throwing 90 miles an hour with filthy stuff. You don't want to see him. That's what Aaron Rodgers is right now. You know, no matter who your defense is, he can go get 28 points against it. You don't want to see him. And, you know, it was raining last I checked in Lambeau that day that the Cowboys went up there. Wasn't it raining, Skip?
I don't think it was
It was wet.
Any rain.
It was wet. Yeah, I know. Somehow they won, so you don't remember anything but the dub. But I tell you what, you're not gonna get your wish, because I looked it up since 1990, since they went to this format. They've been 92 occurrences in which a team has met 3 times in one season, and only 11 times have the team swept the series. So, but you know what, Skip? You're not gonna get your wish anyway, because Aaron Rodgers is going there.
So are you picking with your heart? That's what you're telling me? That you picked Aaron Rodgers with your heart because you think he has the best chance to eliminate Dallas, right?
I picked Aaron Rodgers at home against the Giants because I think he is better. I think their team overall is better than the Giants. So, and they're at home, and he's been hot. I mean, we've seen hot before, but I'm talking about this is like chicken laying fried eggs hot. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about real. I'm talking about scorching hot. I'm talking about the devil in the shade with drinking lemonade with flip-flops hot.
Like MVP hot, right?
Yeah, he's been MVP hot, but he's not going to win it.
Oh, okay, that's how it goes.
Yeah. Skip, I'm sorry. Listen, the Giants beat your team on opening day. And
They lucked into it. It was all right.
Hold on.
Why does Eli always have to luck into it?
That's what I want to know. Why does everything Eli do is luck?
I don't know. He's had 4 lucky games in his life, 2 Super Bowls and 2 against Dallas.
Hey, you need to stop.
Yes.
Because he's beaten your Cowboys twice this year.
Yeah.
He's beaten Tom Brady and the Patriots twice.
And you know what? I want him. I want him now. I want him next week.
Of course you do.
Go Giants.
Because you know
Giants.
they're challenged offensively. That's why you want him.
No, I just want him.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I
You
want the yacht club. Bring
You
him on.
want the path of least resistance. I know you, Skip,
Of
baby.
course.
No, I thought what happened to the moniker? If you want to beat a man, you gotta beat the man.
No mercy. The Cavs have reportedly agreed to a trade for Kyle Korver. Korver was an all-star 2 seasons ago with the Hawks and is shooting over 40% from three-point range this year. The Cavs already shoot over 39% as a team, second best in the league. We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
How much will Korver help the Cavs?
I mean, it's a great move, right? He's one of the best three-point shooters of all time. Now you can surround LeBron with even more shooting.
Can we get the camera on Skip's face? when they ask the question?
You picked Cleveland to win it, didn't you?
He's trying to jinx him. He don't believe that.
I know he doesn't want them. I know. But look, but what is this? This is about Golden State and Cleveland. They already were guaranteed to win the East. They already were better than San Antonio and everybody else. It's about Golden.
I'm not sure.
But you know
We'll
Golden
talk about
State.
that in just a second.
All right. The question is, what does this do for them in Golden State? I think the Cavs got better, but it doesn't make me think, Golden State can't beat them now.
No.
You know, because Korver, as great a shooter as he is, he'll be 36 in March. He never was a great defender.
You know what? But he's gotten better in Atlanta. I think he's serviceable.
Well,
6'7".
this year, Atlanta was 14 points better per 100 possessions than with him on the bench than with him playing. So are you going to try to put Korver, Love, and Kyrie on the court together against Golden State?
Okay, against Golden State. You have to
With,
mix and
say-
match when they go to Ian Clark in the back.
If they go small, if you go like Love, Channing Frye, Kyrie and Korver, that plays into the Warriors' hands because now they can go small and they'll run you out of the gym if you go. I think Cleveland's way to beat Golden State is execution, moving the ball, and physical. And I love the move. You gave up nothing. But does it change things with Golden State? No. You added Kyle Korver to what you had last year. They added Kevin Durant.
I do not believe that Korver and Kyrie and Love will be on the court at the same time. It will probably be LeBron and Korver. When you go, because normally Kyrie goes out.
He's always going to be out there.
When Kyrie goes out, LeBron normally goes to the point, and then they'll bring probably somebody like a Korver in, or normally Richard Jefferson's first off the bench. He'd still be first off the bench. But I don't see them. No, that's too much of a liability defensively to have Korver, Love, and Kyrie. You need Wilt Chamberlain, a Bill Russell to block shots to keep everybody from going to the basket. I like this move because if you put Korver on the court with LeBron and Kyrie, somebody has to defend the paint because Kyrie can get to the bucket anytime he wants. And when you do, he's going to kick the ball. They do a great job of rotating the basketball. I love this move because look, if you can't shoot the three, you can't beat the Warriors. And you're not going to beat the Cavs. That's how the Cavs lost to the Bulls. They got hot from three. I mean, they
already could shoot the three. They already were, second in the league in three-pointers? So they just got even better. It's a great move. Hey. I just don't think ultimately, it's those two teams. I don't think it changes.
It is a great move. Yeah. It is such a sweet move for LeBron because what is he the best at? Drive and dish to the perimeter. There's nobody better. Nobody. Freight train to the basket, get in the paint, and just he's the best passer in basketball. And if you got snipers, a whole ring of snipers out there, if you do have all those guys on the court at the same time, somebody's going to get an open three because two people are going to have to stop LeBron James. And if it's Kyle Korver, there's no better wide open three-point shooter than this guy. You threw out Clay. I don't think Clay's better just sitting down wide open. This guy's a 45%. He'll make almost half of those shots. And Clay can go crazy some nights and make 10 in a row. But this guy is the perfect pickup because he's a good locker room guy. He's not going to mess with your chemistry at all. Yeah. And so here we go again for the third straight year. LeBron needed help 2 years ago, and he gets JR and Shumpert and Mozgov, and they stole him. Like they got him for virtually nothing. And then you need another three-point shooter. How about a 7-foot three-point shooter named Channing Frye from Orlando? And you basically just stole him from Orlando. And then what is Atlanta doing? They are the 4 seed, and
they're giving up. Basically,
they just said no. We're done. We can't beat him, so we'll let him join them. Right?
Yeah.
We're going to send our best shooter to the Kings team. Really? You're going to do that right now? At this point in the year, you're the 4 seed, and you're just saying we're done. Yeah. I know he's in the last year of his contract, but he's still a good player, even though he's 36?
36 in March.
And I still say he's a decent. I'm not saying he's a great defender, but you
he's
get
not
away.
Horrible. Yeah, I agree.
He's not horrible, and he'll try hard. And he's 6'7", so he has some wingspan to him. And with this team, I don't get how LeBron could. I told Shannon, I envisioned last night LeBron picking up the phone, calling the commissioner and saying, "Commish, could you arrange a deal for me? I need Kyle Korver this time. Could you arrange for me to get Kyle Korver? How do you get that? It had to be the commissioner brokering the deal. Come on."
Well, they do have some connections. You know, some people in the front office in Atlanta used to be in Cleveland, and are you saying this guarantees them the championship? I mean,
no, it just makes the best team. I've told Shannon, this is the biggest cakewalk to a finals in Eastern Conference history. The East is the worst it's ever been.
Well, it was last year too. It was. I mean, I think LeBron could go anywhere in the East and win the East. I really do.
I
think if you put him in Brooklyn.
Well, that says it all about the East. That's all I need.
No,
to know.
I agree. It says it about Bron. No, the reason why it's a cakewalk is because he's making the cake. And if you make the cake, you should be able to eat a slice when you want to.
He's making the cake. He calls the commissioner and says, "I need Kyle Korver. I'll make a new cake."
You remember
So I see where you're going. He's going where they're stacked. You got Korver, you got Channing Frye. If they don't win it, he's going. It's his own
snipers.
But my point is, look at Golden State. They're still not as stacked as Golden State.
You know what?
All-star, got all-stars, got gold medals.
You know that.
Literally.
2 MVPs.
You know the team that LeBron should be sweating about is the team that has the best road record in the NBA right now. 17-3 are the San Antonio Spurs. And I think last time, I can't remember if you said it on or off camera, but you said Tony Parker's kind of near the end of the line. Look at his last 5 games and tell me he's at the end of the line.
Okay,
look at it.
Is any of the point guard named Kyrie?
Is any point guard? He can. He is healthy.
Chris, is any point guard he played in the last 5 games Kyrie Irving?
No.
Ask Steph Curry.
I mean, you never can write off the Spurs. We know that.
Yeah, and they have LeBron's number. We know that. Except for Ray Allen.
They beating Golden State?
Huh?
They beating Golden State? We'll see.
We're going to see.
We'll see.
Remember Game 7 when LeBron hit that elbow jumper and then stripped the ball from Kawhi? Skip don't want to bring it up.
I remember that.
I don't want to bring it up.
He had
37.
I don't think Skip remembers that.
Yeah, my Spurs were psychologically shot for Game 7.
Who did it to him?
Ray Allen did it to him.
LeBron.
He did it to
They're
him.
that mentally weak. No.
Yes,
They're
They're as
5 with
mentally tough
18
as any
seconds
team in the
left
league.
In Game 6 on the road in Miami.
remember-
Right, thank you.
For life.
You
You
just
remember
a
Tim
hater
Duncan missed
too.
that layup?
I rode in a parade because of that shot.
Yeah, but not anymore. You're not riding.
You ain't
with him
riding no
anymore.
parade.
Yeah,
Chris,
you ain't
why do
riding
you
with
hurt
him.
me?
Because
You're
I
hanging
see
around
you
him too
rolling your
much.
eyes every time
You're
Shannon
hanging around
say
him
something.
too much.
You rolling your eyes.
Because
and
he is
you're getting
LeBron's
us-
hype man. There's nothing like it.
He didn't say anything that wasn't true.
Yeah, you
That's
make,
the
it,
thing.
you make it seem like I'm lying over here.
Not. This is a great
Skip.
addition. It's an amazing addition.
That's
So
all right.
Skip, I see it. If the Cavs don't win it,
You know,
it's on
you know what my
LeBron.
New Year's resolution is, Skip, for 2017?
It's too late. It's
Nope.
January 6th.
To get the 6'9" guy from Akron to come sit right next to me
I'd
at
love
some
that.
point in time. I don't want you to talk.
He's
As a
welcome
matter of fact,
anytime.
when he come on here, I don't want you to say a word to it.
Oh, I'd say a lot.
No, don't you say nothing, Skip Bayless.
He's welcome anytime. No mercy. Rob, 5 of the 6 most watched NFL games this season. 5 of the 6 most watched NFL games this season were Cowboys games. Does that prove that the Cowboys are still America's team?
No, they are not America's team. Shannon, it's more like South America's team, because this time of the year particularly is when they go south, no bueno. You didn't know it was bilingual, did you?
I did not know that.
That's very good, Rob.
But the thing is, Skip, you know this too. It's about what you do this time of the year that really tells you whether or not people hold on to you and say, this is a team that I watch, this is a team that produces, come playoff time that I'm into. And here's just straight facts. Since 2002, the Cowboys have 2 more wins than the Cleveland Browns when you talk about postseason. So the Cowboys haven't been that team. Did people want to watch this year? I get it, yes, because they've been so bad from the standpoint of putting together such a run, 2 young players that people didn't know on the pro level. Maybe they knew them in college, but they got to see this team come together, win all these games, win 11 in a row. People tune into that. But America's team, where people really look at them and say, this is a preeminent power that I have to watch every time they are on because they're so good, no. And the idea of the Cowboys and all the merchandising that they sell. The only reason they sell a lot of merchandise is because this time of the year is 75% off in January, and they're always in the clearance table.
Okay. You got jokes.
Shannon liked it.
You don't have facts, but you got jokes.
First of all, the rating says if they want it, they can have it, Skip. Hey, 5 of the top 6 watch games this year are Cowboys. They only got that moniker because Dan Rooney told the story of how NFL Films wanted to call the Pittsburgh Steelers America's team in the 70s because they won all the time. All the Super Bowls were won by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Mr. Art Rooney Sr. said, we are not America's team. We're a Pittsburgh Steelers. We're a Pittsburgh team, which is blue-collar, hard-working. Another thing, I thought America's like winners. And in the last 20 years, what have the Cowboys won, Skip? Since 1997, they have 2 playoff wins, the exact total as the Houston Texans, who became a franchise in 2002.
And 2 more wins than we said, the Cleveland Browns, who haven't won 1 playoff game since then.
So basically, prior to this season, the Cowboys were a 500 football team from 1997 to 2015. So I thought, I just knew we love winners. Americans, we rally, we go to the Olympics, we're gonna win the most gold medals. We go, whatever we do, we're gonna win. Serena playing in the tennis, we're gonna win. And now this. Get out of here with this mess.
But you gave into it. You said because all those TV ratings, they are America's team.
If they want it, they can have it.
Yeah.
It should.
They don't want it. They just are.
It should.
They can't help it.
Honestly, it should be the Patriots or the Broncos or the Steelers because they've won the most. The Patriots have 4 Super Bowls. The Steelers have 3 wins. The Broncos have 3 wins. In the last 20 years, how many for the Cowboys? That many? I couldn't even count that low.
As usual, both of you are missing the point and missing the boat. The Dallas Cowboys have always been and remain America's team because they are America's most loved and most hated team. So even when they miss the playoffs and come up short and small, as you just point out, People love it because they love to root against Dallas just as much as they love to root for. And I don't have time to do this, but I can go back year after year after year and show you all the top-rated games during regular season were Dallas Cowboy games. And this year, the Cowboys saved the second half of the year after the election and obviously the Cubs run. The Cowboys games, on average, the second half of the year were the most watched games, even above the NBA Finals and the Cubs in the World Series. They dominate the ratings because people can't take their eyes off them. It starts with the uniforms. They still have the best uniforms in sports.
No, they don't.
Yeah, well, see, there you go. But you look at them, and there's something about the color
Better than
of
the
them.
New York Yankees pinstripes?
Way better because the colors of them, the metallic blue. Tex Schramm, who basically invented and created the Dallas Cowboys, once told me that he actually had a TV camera brought to his office. This is in 1960 when they're inventing the uniform, and would test colors on the TV screen just to see which were most pleasing to the eye. And he came up with that blue. They call it metallic blue with the silver and the white and the star on the side of the helmet. And listen, you know I lived in New York the last 12 years. Ernestine and I, some Saturdays, a lot of Saturdays, we'd walk to the movies down 8th Avenue, and she would always turn to me every Saturday and say, "This is incredible." We'd see cowboy jersey after cowboy jersey in New
Sightseeing.
York City.
They were sightseeing.
But there are a lot of New Yorkers who are Cowboy fans. You know this. They grow up, they love the uniforms, and if, depending on your age range, the Cowboys have won 5 Super Bowls where they play in 8. So it's not like they've been a perennial loser. They've had their stretches.
But you got to admit the last 20 some odd years, they have been, Skip.
Okay.
60s, they didn't do well. 70s, they won. 80s, they didn't do well.
Okay.
90s, they did well. 2000s, and
Okay, but they had a dynasty in the 90s, obviously. They should have won probably 4 Super Bowls in a row. And just because of the soap opera of Jimmy versus Jerry, firing Jimmy Johnson after winning 2 Super Bowls, you don't think that made him America's team again? Because it's the best soap opera in sports. Who's the most famous owner or infamous owner in all of sports? Is it even close?
No.
It's Jerry Jones. So he just continued the legacy that was built by, I hate to say this, but Tom Landry to Jimmy Johnson, and now it's Jerry Jones. How many days do we talk about Jerry Jones on the show? Because it's so debatable and discussable what this crazy old owner is going to say tomorrow. Right?
I think that people did at one point feel that way. I'm not so sure, Skip, and I get the infatuation this year because of what they were able to do with 11 straight wins and the rookies. I'll give you that. But I don't think that stretch of what you're talking about was there because they weren't involved in the playoffs. You weren't rooting against them because they weren't making the playoffs. You didn't feel there was no need to root against the Cowboys. They didn't make it. They weren't in the way of anything.
Year, they were just a perennial 8-8 team. So they would have their little stretch and say, are they going to make it or not make it? And then Romo would come up short at the end of the season. They'd lose the last game.
I knew you would throw Romo in there.
Well, he's the classic Cowboy-hating, loving quarterback because he's high risk, high reward. Can't trust him, but every once in a while, when you least expect it, he'll throw 5 touchdown passes. Then the next game, he'll throw 4 interceptions. It's perfect to keep the interest level. They're the most interesting team year after year after year. They have the most interesting players. I can't explain it. It's the dynamic of the Hollywood that is Dallas, Texas, because it always has been.
Jerry Jones is P.T. Barnum.
He is.
Because the Cowboys somehow adopted the moniker or got the moniker America's team, and P.T. Barnum says this is the greatest show on earth. And so somehow Jerry Jones has convinced the American public that we truly are, although we might not win, but we'll win 3 Super Bowls in a 30-year span because after the 70s, they didn't do anything in the 80s. Skip.
What was the quote attributed to P.T. Barnum? I don't think he actually said
What,
it.
there's a sucker born
every minute, right? Okay.
Because
there you go.
Actually, they had an albino elephant, and people didn't believe it was an albino. So the story goes, or the legend being told, is that he got a paintbrush and painted an elephant with white house paint. And it's, oh my God, it's a white elephant. And see, Jerry Jones has done that very thing because he's convinced all the American people, mainly Skip Bayless, who's trumpeting this cause.
They didn't have to convince me.
Yes,
I was already convinced.
Yeah.
I was there long before Jerry Jones.
No, you were convinced when you went to see him in Tulsa or wherever you went to see him.
I went to Dallas.
No, where'd you see him?
61.
The first time you saw him in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
And
Dallas,
you were convinced.
Second year.
You were an impressionable little boy, Skip.
I was
And
10 years old. I was.
There was, as P.T. Barnum said, what did he say? There's one born every second.
Okay, my uncle lived in Dallas, was an assistant coach at a high school, and he said, you got to come see our new team. They were
terrible, Skip.
They were terrible. They had little Eddie LeBaron at quarterback, but they had Don Meredith waiting in the wings. Yeah. Was he not a superstar type
Meredith?
quarterback who became a star in television,
He was the first,
right?
He was really the
Danny
first
Don.
one.
Okay,
Danny
and then
Don.
Roger Staubach, was he not Captain America for a while? Do you don't think that?
The Naval Academy.
Okay.
Right, absolutely.
Okay.
So they had a lot of, look, where's that Roger Staubach now? Where's the All-American guy now?
Where is he now? He's selling real estate in Dallas, Texas,
No, I'm not
sitting in the box.
I'm not
On the
talking.
team now?
I'm not talking about Roger Staubach. I'm talking about the Roger Staubach that played quarterback. I'm talking about who's the lovable, the guy that you love, that was in the military, was the Heisman Trophy winner. Who is that guy for the Cowboys now?
Well, it's becoming Dak Prescott, and he wasn't in the Naval Academy, but he is. You don't think he's high character, good kid, perfect Cowboy quarterback?
Just say it. Just say
Come on,
it. You're
say
so
it.
funny.
He is the Spurs. Dak and the Spurs are a lot alike. All broccoli
quick point.
and asparagus.
Every morning I come in here, and I apologize. This morning I was actually 3 minutes late to the meeting, and you know why? Because there are 3 security guards on this lot who will not let me be talking about the Dallas Cowboys. We're in Los Angeles, California, on the west side of Los Angeles, right? And they stop me every morning. Can you believe that Jerry still wants to play Romo? It's every day. It's some soap opera, and I feel like, oh,
Well,
yeah.
tell 'em about
then I lose my track of where I am, and I say, because I get into it. Who doesn't want to talk about the Cowboys?
Well, tell him about Derek, who took 3 weeks off after I told him the Giants were going to beat him, and he would not come back until Monday.
He didn't want to see you, right?
Yes.
He didn't want to
Thank
see
you.
you.
We love our security
So
guards.
tell
down here at
that
Fox.
story,
Rob,
Skip.
I'm telling you, you just got to admit it. Cowboys don't play this weekend because they were great this season, but you can catch America's team on Fox next Sunday. It's facts.
Skip, I'm going to get you
I
a
do
Dallas
facts.
Cowboy hoodie as soon as they go 75% off.
I've got my T-shirt, and that's all I need.
No, I got you socks for Christmas.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got socks.
That's right.
I'm
Got
going to wear them
Cowboy
on the
socks.
show, but I'm waiting for the
Perfect.
occasion.
Yeah, right occasion. No mercy. 2 of the top MVP candidates in the NBA battled last night. James Harden had 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 12 assists, and then the key pass to Nene in the final second. Russell Westbrook had a game-high 49 points in the loss, but missed a potential game-winning three-pointer. Skip, who made the better MVP case last night, Westbrook or Harden?
I hate to admit this because I had Russell for MVP before the season started, and I'm going to stick with him. But he did not help his MVP case last night. And I thought James Harden, I must admit, had the better overall basketball game last night. Now, perspective. Russell was at the disadvantage. They're playing back-to-back. Oklahoma City was, Charlotte, and then in Houston. So it's in James Harden's house back-to-back. That's pretty rough. And I do realize that last night, Russell Westbrook torched one of the better on-the-ball defenders, maybe one of the best on-the-ball defenders in the NBA, Patrick Beverley, 49 points. So he outscored James 49-26.
He gave Ariza some of that, too.
He gave Ariza a little bit of it, too, but it was a lot of Patrick Beverley.
It was.
And Russell had one of those rare, hot three-point nights. He's sort of LeBron-esque that way, where when you least expect
We're not
it.
talking
I
about
know we're not.
LeBron.
We're going to in just a minute. But Russell hit 8 of 15 threes. Highly unusual, but it certainly helped their case. But he didn't help his MVP case because I don't like the trend I'm seeing here from Russell. His shot attempts are rising and his assists are plummeting by the game. Last 3 games, they've lost all 3. His shot attempts have gone 28, 31, last night 34. It's a lot of shots that you're putting up at the expense of your teammates who are starting to do the mannequin challenge around him. You know, they look like 4 statues just watching. What's he going to do now? I don't know.
And don't forget, he has a 44-shot game and a 35-shot game this season also.
And so I look at the last 5 games. They only won 1 of those, and his assists have gone 0, and then he had 14 in a win over the Clippers, and then assists go 6, 8, 5. Last night, 5 assists, while James Harden had 12 assists. Not a good sign. He's still averaging his triple-double, 31 points scored, 11 rebounds, which is sensational. He's still rebounding at just a crazy clip, right? But his assists have fallen all the way to just 10. So he's just barely hanging in with the 10 double-digit assists. And that said, Russell Westbrook had a chance to wipe the slate clean last night by making the game-winning shot. And he had 3 attempts at it with the game tied. 1:31 left. He had a 16-foot jump shot that he missed. I don't know if we could see that. Thank you very much. This is with 1:31 left. That's game tied banged it off the back iron. Then 51 seconds left. He drives to his left and shoots a right-handed shot off the glass right here. Just kind of a bad idea shot. Didn't even really get it up on the rim. No good.
On the second play, he could have dropped it off. And
I think he could have.
was rolling to the basket.
Well said. And then finally, here's that shot again. Yeah, he could have done this. This is right in James Harden's face. James didn't even put a hand up, really. Didn't get it up very quick and back ironed the three-point shot to win the game late in the game with 5.7 seconds left. And then what happens? Here we go again with the three-point shot. Pretty good look. I think it's a great look.
Wow.
Then what did James Harden do at the other end? He did something I didn't think he was really capable of doing. All of a sudden, Robertson has him, and Steven Adams jumps out on him on the double team. And what did he do? The textbook dish to Nene, who's wide open, breaking to the basket, and gets hammered, and he goes to the free throw line and makes 2 free throws to win the basketball game. So James Harden made the textbook pass that won the basketball game, and he had 12 assists. And I hate to admit it, but overall, I thought he got the better last night of a Russell Westbrook that I'm still hanging in with for MVP.
You know what I find funny? I find it ironic. The very play that you give James Harden credit for, had that been the guy up in Cleveland making that very same play,
that's right,
you would have criticized him. Hold on, Skip, hold on. Because you would have said he's not clutch, or he didn't want to draw the foul and go to the free throw line and shoot the free throws.
Well, if they'd won the game, I would have given him great credit. What do I always call LeBron? The best passer in the NBA. He's highly capable of making that play.
I'm a firm believer that it's never wrong to do the right thing. And when they roll, when Robertson and then Adams tried to jump on him quick, he dumped the ball down to Nene. That was the right play. The right play is never wrong. You know, Skip, when you look at James Harden, he's one of the hardest guys to defend because he has three-point range. He has a mid-range game. He can get to the bucket in that Euro step. Whew, they call it a Euro step, but dude, he walking, he traveling. He got a suitcase and everything, and he put the ball in his left hand like this, and he goes to the basket.
By the way, Manu Ginobili invented that move, but just go ahead.
He invented it, but they perfected it. They're doing a lot better than Manu. But anyway, 26, 12, and you look at Russell's line. He had 49 points. He outscored the other starting 4 all by himself. So you're not going to win very many games if you're outscoring the other 4 starters by yourself, because that tells me they're doing a lot of looking around. Okay, Russ, go do your thing. We'll stand over here. We'll try to get the rebound and feed it back to you so you can go to the basket again. You know what, Skip? If you look at this, Russell Westbrook is 0 for 6 on go-ahead three-point attempts in the final 10 seconds of fourth quarter in OT. Worst in the NBA. And somehow, I guess he doesn't get these stats. Because guess what he's doing? He's steady jacking it up. He's still not trying to get his teammates involved. And I said this yesterday, teams are perfectly content. Let him get 49. Let him get 50. As long as Adams doesn't get 20, as long as Oladipo doesn't get 20, they're not going to win. I said it before. The best they could possibly hope for was a 6th seed. Skip, they're free falling. And what he needs to understand, in order for this team to be successful, he needs to be somewhere around 25 points, somewhere around 12, 13 assists. Now, get the rebounds, but you got to get these other guys involved.
I agree.
Am I sure that Russell Westbrook is going to have a career night? Because if he doesn't have that career night from 3, they get blown out. Skip, it's like the first half, everything he put up was going in from 3. I'm like, dude, is this Steph and Clay, or is this, Russell? He's not a three-point. He can make, 1 or 2, and he gets on a rhythm. Yeah, he can make
your basic 31% share from 3. Yep.
But he was walking into him like it was nothing. He was pulling up in guys' face like they weren't even standing there. Hand down, man down. Skip, James Harden. First of all, I didn't think Russell could win it because I didn't think they could win enough games. I said the best case scenario, maybe a 6th seed. But that's look like it's going to be probably 7 or 8 because Utah's going away. Grizzlies are not coming back to him. And the thing is, what's going to make James Harden even more appealing is that really they can challenge one of the top 2. They can challenge San Antonio. They can challenge Golden State because they got those snipers. They got a guy on the bench that'll start for everybody else. Gordon.
You said the other day you thought it was only San Antonio or Golden State, but now you're throwing Houston in the mix?
Skip, after watching them and watch Gordon come off the bench, he's coming off the bench and dropping 20. Look, they can go ahead and stop the voting for Sixth Man of the Year. It's over. It's over. He's going to win this unanimous. Skip, the dude comes off the bench. James Harden was terrible the other night. 6 of like 25. This dude scores 31. And what people don't know, he's leading the league in three-point field goals made. Not Steph, not Clay. Eric Gordon.
I know, but their team is like leading it by far because they just jacked it. That's what D'Antonio's doing it, right?
They got Gordon.
Shoot it as many times as you can shoot
think
it.
about it. They got Gordon. They got Anderson. They got Harden that can shoot them. They got Ariza that can shoot them. Patrick Beverly got in on the action last night. He hit 2 or 3. And so when they're playing like this, if they're making those threes, they're going to be a tough out for a lot of teams. Now, I think the depth of those other teams will ultimately be their undoing. But Skip, James Harden right now, as much as I give him a slight lead over LeBron. But when it's all said and done, you know who's going to win that trophy.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
If you're saying the Kang is going to win it, the Clang, I guess, right?
Don't do that, Skip. Oh, you clanging now, but let's see what happens when that marksman from Atlanta joins us.
Well, we're about to get to that, but last thing on Russell. For all you say, for all of our constructive criticism for Russell here, how he's got to change his ways going forward, playing back-to-back at Houston against that team, Russell had 3 chances to win the game. That's pretty great. That's pretty great. And he missed all 3, and I get your 0 for 6 stat. Do you think Russ lost any sleep last night over that? Nope, he does not care. He will shoot them again. He'll shoot it the next game and the next game, and they have a tough January coming up, and it ends up with, I think it ends up like at San Antonio, at Cleveland, close together at the end of this month. So the tale is about to be told, but I still think if Russell can readjust and get back to 14 or 15 assists, they can be a pretty good team.
He's a classic guy that can shoot you in and out of ball games. And last night, I mean, he wasn't even trying to get other guys in the last few seconds of the ball game involved, Skip. And everybody knew it. I mean, Robinson was standing in the corner. The guy rolls to the basket, and he didn't even look at the guy rolling to the basket.
No. Russ has no conscience and a short memory.
That is correct. And it's exactly why Kevin Durant is now a Golden State Warrior.
Yep.
Russell's like, who is Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
Did he ever play in
Exactly. I
Oklahoma?
forgot who that was.
No mercy.
The Seahawks host the Lions tomorrow night in a wild card matchup. The Seahawks have been up and down recently, going 3-3 in their last 6. But Seattle has won a franchise best 9 straight home playoff games. We're joined by Chris Carter. Chris, how much confidence do you have in Seattle going into the playoffs?
It's not as if I have a great deal of confidence in them, but this is a kind of odd year as far as the playoffs are concerned. Amongst the playoff teams, especially in the NFC, they have the most experience. Now, people say next man up. A lot of times when a guy gets hurt when he's really a star, that's just coach talk. And the guy who's coming in for him, they're trying to make him feel better.
Yeah.
But when you get a guy hurt like Shannon Sharpe, that other guy, no, I'm not him. They're going to have to put in some type of game plan. So Seattle, ever since Earl Thomas, all right, they talking about the Legion of Boom. They need to talk about the legend of Earl Thomas because now he's starting to get the credit. The best safety in the box, the best safety center field, the best safety sideline to sideline, and they're predominantly a zone coverage team. So he makes up. He's the eraser that helps them erase the mistakes that they make.
I call him a makeup artist. He covers all blemishes.
And they can't recover from that. Yeah, they're going to put another guy out there, but his overall ability, no, he can't do it. I think this is a game for 2 people, and that is Michael Bennett and his ability to be able to handle the front 7. I believe his leadership, and he's a star. He's a star that's kind of not under the radar, but he doesn't get as much attention. Him and Cam Chancellor. I'm looking for the first playoff game to see Cam smash somebody because in the playoffs, it's a different tempo. And you see a guy coming across the middle, the way Seattle in the first quarter, they always blast somebody, either one of the linebackers or Cam. And I believe that's going to have an impact on the 12s in them winning this game. They have enough talent to be able to rally. So how confident am I? If you can win one game in the playoffs, you only got to win one more to get into the championship game. So do I think they can go all the way to the Super Bowl? This is the least talented Seattle team in the last 5 years.
Correct.
So I would say I have the least amount of confidence, but they still have some great players, and great players can take over a game. Cam Chancellor, Bennett, if they take over the game defensively, I believe that's enough for Russell Wilson, because he's going to be running for his life with that offensive line, and I believe they can score enough points. One thing to watch, a little subplot. Watch Golden Tate. Golden Tate did not want to leave Seattle. He felt like they didn't communicate the offer and give him the kind of offer that he wanted. So he has kind of the same attitude as a Doug Baldwin. So watch as the game goes on. Is he able to control himself or propel himself and the team to the next level? Because if Golden Tate does not play well without a lack of running game, all right, or if he gets so emotional that he gets out of the game, Detroit has problems. So I'm watching for those two things on defense, and I'm watching for the attitude of a guy who left that franchise and started his career there.
Golden Tate reminds me of a calmer, more milder Steve Smith. He has that chip on his shoulder. I mean, they'll put him in the backfield, CC. I told Mike, I went to Mike Shanahan, my former coach. I say, don't hand me the ball, and don't put me in the backfield and throw me the ball. They obliged me by not doing that, because I wanted no parts to taking that ball in the backfield.
Yeah, he has a special talent running with the ball.
Yes.
Well, he was a running back, wasn't he, for Golden Tate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was a high school running back.
I was a high school running back too, but I wanted no more parts. I didn't want
Really?
no parts. No.
Were you a good one? I don't know.
I ran too high, Skip.
Okay.
He was a running back for the availability, not ability.
Okay.
I was my brother's backup, so that means I didn't get in a whole lot.
Okay.
But you know what? Think about this. When you look at Seattle's offense, their leading rusher is not even on the team. He plays for the Packers, Christian Michael. That's their leading rusher. They're not the dominant defense. They're not the 2013, 2014 defense. And they haven't been that since Earl Thomas. Now, we talk about all these great players all we want to, but whatever blemishes they had on defense, Earl Thomas could wipe them away, and you couldn't see them. They grew up together, Cam, Earl, and Richard. So they knew all the little intricacies. If Richard could give Earl a look, like I'm playing inside, Earl says, well, I might need to cheat a little bit this way just in case Richard does not make this play. I'm there to either bat the ball down or I can get the guy out of bounds. So with him not being there, because if you look at it, since he's gone out, if you take away that LA Rams game, because they're offensively challenged, they're averaging giving up almost 32 points a game.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at this team, when they throw the ball offensively, 33 times or fewer, they're 5-0. When they run the ball at least 25 times, they're 9-2. So what does that tell you? They need to be able to get some resemblance of a running game.
Yes.
Because as challenged as Detroit is at rushing the passer, but when you got those turnstiles on the offensive line for the Seahawks, all of a sudden they're going to look like the fearsome foursome. They're going to look like the steel curtain. So that's the problem that Seattle's having. Because they can't run the football, they're asking Russell to go back and throw the ball 40, 45 times a game behind that offensive line. That's a recipe for disaster. Now, when you go to that building, that 12, they play hard. Now, you know what? Listen, when the Seattle come out on defense, they're a cover one, Skip, lurk team. We call it lurk. They call it robber. One robber. That means Cam Chancellor, any crossing route, he's looking to decapitate you. If you remember in the Super Bowl, Demaryius Thomas caught it early, the shallow cross, and Cam Chancellor hit him.
That was the end of it.
That was the end of it.
Yep.
So you look for that.
He also caught Edelman, too, didn't he, in the New England?
Yeah.
Which one do you mean? In the fourth quarter?
Yes.
We did that the other
Again, when
day.
he made the great run?
Yeah, but Edelman got up and
Yes,
came back.
absolutely.
And he still don't remember his name, but he did a great job. But that's the thing. I'm gonna say Seattle's gonna win this game. Now, Skip, there's something to be said about this prideful bunch of young men. They've been there, they've done that. And if anybody can summon what they used to be, I would say this team can do it better. Not good like New England, because New England still has that guy, number 12, and they still have Hoodie on the sideline with the cutoff sleeves. But of the teams that's in the playoff outside of New England, they can summon up the most pride and say, guys, this is who we are. Kind of like with the Ravens. You know, when the Ravens get in the playoff, somehow they find a way to summon something up and say, look, we are a defensive-bound football team. We do not let anybody run over us. The Seattle Seahawks are cut from that same cloth. They will win a close ball game. But without resemblance of a running game and Earl Thomas missing, I just don't know how far they can go. And that was my pick to be in the Super Bowl. but I didn't anticipate Earl Thomas, and I did not anticipate them not being able to run the football.
Okay, so give me scale of 1 to 10, confidence level in Seahawks winning the NFC, which is a winnable NFC to your point.
6.5.
5?
I'm just trying to get through this week, Skip.
Okay.
6.3.
Okay, 6.3. I'm going to give them a 7 in confidence because of all you said about they've done this before. And I think they got a great break, a huge break, getting Detroit at home in the first playoff game.
absolutely.
If they'd gotten thrown into a playoff fire against, let's say, the Giants,
Right.
I don't think it would end well. But this is an opportunity against a Detroit team that lost its last 3 games and fell into this spot, right? A Detroit team that is notoriously bad outdoors on the road. And is there a tougher outdoors on the road place to play than this place?
Exactly.
Right?
No.
So this is the wrong place, the wrong time for the Detroit Lions with a quarterback whose finger still isn't right on his throwing hand. And no Theo Riddick and Darius Slay, it looked like last week he tried to play and he was hampered at best.
Yes.
And I don't even know what that hamstring's doing this time, if he'll be much to speak of this time. So you're catching right place, right time to restart for Seattle your second season. You have potential to have a resounding confidence rebuilding victory over not a very good team right now in your house. With Stephen Terrell in place of Earl Thomas, maybe you get through it and you say, you know what, we can be okay here. We still got Richard and we still got Cam and we still got Michael Bennett.
You just
flying
can't take
off
the
edge.
chances defensively
Okay.
without Earl Thomas.
You can't, but you could still, in this year's NFC, and I'll be, as much as I love the Cowboys, I'm not saying they're not the New England Patriots, because they have no playoffs experience to speak of. And I don't know. I don't trust Matt Ryan that much, even at home. Do I think Seattle could win here and go and beat Matt Ryan? Again, Matt Ryan probably should have beaten them, got a bad call at the end of the game.
Yes.
But I still say, in a playoff game in Atlanta, I've seen Matt Ryan start to get a little shaky, just a little, his feet are getting a little quick in the pocket, and I've seen him come up small in playoff games. So could this team go beat Matt Ryan? Sure it could. Could this team go to Jerry World and win a game? Just on sheer experience? Yeah, it could. Just defensive toughness, mental toughness? Yeah. But Thomas Rawls is going to have to figure it out and get back in gear because Russell Wilson ain't right either.
Right. You asked us about confidence level. I said 6.3. He said 6. Let me tell you who this is an important game for. 2 people. Pete Carroll. This is one of the first times people begin to question his overall leadership of this football team. So watch what he does. Watch the amount of enthusiasm they play with at home. And also, Richard Sherman. Watch Richard Sherman play some football this weekend because he's got all the pressure on him, not doing press conferences. Watch him rise to the occasion and be one of the catalysts to get Seattle from the wild card round into the divisional round.
So you're saying he will? Or
Yes,
you're just
absolutely.
Saying
He will
watch
show
it?
up. He will show up and play a game.
If you think about it, all things being equal, I think the Seahawks would rather see the Cowboys because you got Matt Ryan who can light you up with Julio Jones and those receivers. You also have Aaron Rodgers in his receivers.
Yeah,
so all things being equal, Seattle would rather face the Cowboys than to see one of those offenses because you're going to get Atlanta in an enclosed environment. Ideal situations. That's not, and we saw what Julio Jones did to Richard. Julio Jones is a nightmare. And he has a week to rest because he's been battling that toe injury.
And don't forget the meeting in the preseason where Zeke, he sent that message to Cam Chancellor to let him know.
He went looking for
He
it.
went looking for him.
Yeah.
Well, before the game, he went looking too. But during the game, he went looking for Cam.
Another story.
You don't know what to talk about.
I mean, he was in Seattle looking.
Yeah, I don't know what they do here.
He was sightseeing. He just needed to go.
Yeah, he just wandered
absolutely.
in there
I
just
know.
by accident. He didn't see the sign.
It happened.
I
They
know.
got a
Did you
funny
talk
looking
yourself
leaf on
back
the
into
window.
your Super Bowl
They got a funny looking leaf on the window. Let me see what y'all doing here.
That's research. We take that class at Ohio
You know,
State.
you go
the
to
Ohio
the fish
State.
market and then you go to the, right?
I will say, I don't
The
know
other
what you did.
market.
The first time I went to Seattle, I did go to the fish market because I wanted to see. I didn't catch any fish. They didn't let them throw them with the wax paper, but I had to see it.
No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. That's it for us today at Undisputed. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. We're back on Monday morning when we're joined by Chris Carter to break down all the wild card action in the NFL and Joel Klatt to preview the college football championship game. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the football games, and let's go Fins.
Fox Sports, one of one.